Hello and welcome to Spartan Sports Report. I'm AJ Evans.
And I'm Lexi Alston.
We have an action-packed episode here for you today with hockey, gymnastics, golf, and of course basketball. Because for the first time in Spartan Sports Report history, we have a special March Madness episode for you.
But before we get to that, we have some breaking news involving one of the longest tenured Spartan head coaches. Susie Merchant has stepped down as MSU women's basketball coach. Michigan State Athletic Director Alan Haller and Coach Merchant agreed to a mutual decision to part ways, effective immediately. Dean Lockwood will continue to serve as interim head coach while a national coaching search is conducted. After 16 seasons at Michigan State, Merchant ends her time in East Lansing with 327 wins, the second most in program history. She also captured 2 Big Ten titles and earned Big Ten Coach of the Year honors in 2011. Merchant led the Spartans to 10 NCAA tournament appearances during her time in East Lansing.
Last weekend, the postseason started for MSU hockey as they battled against Notre Dame in a best-of-3 series in the opening round of the Big Ten tournament. The Irish took Game 1 with a score of 1-0, but MSU followed up with back-to-back 4-2 victories to claim its first Big Ten tournament win in program history and its first playoff series win since 2013. This past Saturday, MSU took on number 1 ranked Minnesota in the semifinal matchup of the Big Ten tournament. The Gophers were too much to handle for the Spartans, scoring 5 unanswered goals to cruise to a 5-1 victory, ending MSU's season. Head coach Adam Nightingale in his first season led the Spartans to an 18-18-2 record, the most wins since the 2011-2012 season.
On March 6th and 7th, the MSU men's golf team competed in the Colleton River Collegiate in Bluffton, South Carolina. MSU finished third after 3 rounds with a team score of 838. August Meekhoff led the Spartans, scoring 3 rounds under par, earning the individual medalist for this invitational. 2 days later, the junior earned the title of Big Ten Player of the Week. Michigan State's next match is on March 13th and 14th at the Johnny O.C. Island Invitational.
MSU Gymnastics is back at number 9 this week after hosting a tri-meet against Bowling Green and Long Island last week. The Spartans had a historical meet where Nikki Smith scored a perfect 10 on vault and Joy Jackert scored a perfect 10 on bars. Their scores helped MSU become the 8th team in the country to record a team score of 198 or above. Their score of 198.225 is the highest team score in program history for the Spartans. On Sunday, MSU Gymnastics hosted and defeated Northern Illinois and honored seniors Jory Jackert, Tori Loomis, and Nia Smith at their last meet. The Spartans ended their regular season with their second highest team score in program history and a new program record on bars with a score of 49.725. And also tied their program record on floor with a total of 49.675. This Saturday, MSU Gymnastics will be in Coralville, Iowa to compete at the Big Ten Championships.
Obviously, it was a bit disappointing on Friday as the Spartans fell to Ohio State 68-58 in their first game. Ohio State shot lights out while MSU had trouble finding the basket. Coach Izzo said the team just got outplayed and he learned some things about his team's sense of urgency during their trip down to Chicago.
I think that's the sense of urgency that hopefully I get out of Chicago is it's not okay. You know, it's not like it's illegal, but it's not okay. And the teams that do the less of my bads, or it was just one time, or it was just a mistake, or, you know, they're going to be the ones that move on. And that's what we talked about our team on Sunday, you know.
For the Big Ten as a whole, the conference saw 2 double-digit seeds reaching the semifinals. Penn State find themselves in the NCAA tournament thanks to a run this weekend. Their shooting put them in the championship game against Purdue, where they lost by just 2 points to the Boilermakers. Zach Edey was named tournament MVP as he turned in 3 straight double-doubles in Chicago, capping the tournament off with 30 points and 13 rebounds.
Tom Izzo has now surpassed former Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski for most consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. For a quarter of a century, Tom Izzo and the Michigan State basketball team have been dancing through March. If Michigan State makes the next 2 NCAA tournaments, they will tie North Carolina for the second most consecutive appearances by a team in history. I'm here with senior Zach Beavers, who got a chance to travel down to the Big Ten tournament in Chicago and get a first-hand look at some of the teams around the Big Ten, especially Michigan State. Zach, talk to me about that tournament and what you saw from the Spartans.
Well, ultimately, it was a disappointing trip for the Spartans, only playing 1 game, losing to Ohio State 68-58. Izzo talked about how his team just kind of got outplayed. Maybe they weren't focused enough. They were worried about, maybe Izzo was worried about, maybe they're not focusing on, trying to limit those bad mistakes, which is tough to, you have to do that in March. It's a single elimination. You only have one shot at it. So from that perspective, I mean, they get the 7 seed. Seeding doesn't necessarily matter. It's more about matchups. They shoot the ball pretty well, which helps in March. with Jaden Akins, Joey Hauser, and Tyson Walker, guys like that can hit shots from outside. They're going to have to do that if they want to make a run here in this tournament. And ultimately, like I said, it's about matchups. So USC, they're a pretty similar team when it comes to a lot of the things they do too.
USC is one of the better teams in the country. They're certainly, I think, one of the most underrated teams. They were tied for second in the Pac-12 this year. The Pac-12 was pretty competitive. Talk to me a little bit about what you see from the Trojans and a little bit more about how they match up against Michigan State.
Well, the most interesting thing about the USC Trojans is Drew Peterson, who Izzo said in his presser today was like a little Larry Bird, which is kind of interesting. He shoots at about 36% from three. Not as good as a couple of the players on Michigan State's team, but Michigan State's had trouble defending the three-pointer lately. So if he gets some open shots, see some shots going, it might be pretty tough for Michigan State. And of course, he's 6'9". Spartan's backcourt doesn't have size like that.
Yes.
A.J. Hogarth's 6'4", Tyson Walker's 6'1". So that's going to be a little tough matchup for them on defense.
USC, much like Michigan State, has a very dynamic backcourt in Boogie Ellis and Drew Peterson. Both of those guys are bigger. They can score on all three levels. They make plays for others. It's going to be a big-time matchup, especially for the first round. This matchup will take place in Columbus, Ohio at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday afternoon. Speaking of Big Ten basketball, our Lexi Alston got an exclusive interview with the head director of March Madness, Mark Grant.
Now, you were the one of 12 directors chosen from CBS to do the Final Four. What does that mean to you in your career?
Well, when you've been in the business as long as I have, over 35, years, it's just a real honor that CBS thought enough of me. They could have chosen any of the other 12 directors to direct the Final Four, and they chose me. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity. And I just hope that my body of work will continue to do. I'll continue to do great things. I'll continue to do the Final Four as long as I want to, and carry on the tradition of CBS making the magic of the Final, capturing the magic that makes the Final Four so special.
And you're following the retirement of legendary director Bob Fishman, who has done this tournament for the past 40 years. Now, tell me, is there a lot of pressure with that?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of pressure. You're following the footsteps of a giant, and you just hope that you can do a good job, and I hope it doesn't take me 40 years to do it as well as him. Hope I can step right in there, use my experience, my talents to carry on the tradition. I really am excited about it.
And something I'm definitely wondering is, what are you most looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, here in the Big Ten, I think it's a lot of fun. It's my first time doing the Big Ten tournament. Doing the championship's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know who's going to be in it, but whoever's in it, we're going to do a great job. We're going to really, this is the last tournament before the selection show. And so this tournament has a lot of meaning, and I just want to do a great job and capture the excitement of the Big Ten tournament.
Thank you so much. I'm Lexi Alston for Spartan Sports Report. Staying on our Big Ten coverage, our Spartan Sports Report reporters Ben Shockley, Derek Mitchell, and Deshaun Johnson, as well as Zach Beavers, have some of the key matchups featuring conference teams in the NCAA tournament. Guys, what's happening in the Big Ten?
Purdue has been an absolute beast in the Big Ten this year, and they showed that again in the Big Ten tournament. The Boilermakers edged past Penn State in the Big Ten tournament finale for their first conference title since 2009. This is going to lock them in at the 1 seed for the East region in their face-off at 6:50 on Friday against the winner of the FDU versus Texas Southern Tigers game on Wednesday, March 15th. The Texas Southern Tigers won the SWAC conference for the third time in a row to make it into the tournament as the 16th seed, while their opponents, FDU, they made it on a technicality, and they're hoping to make a Cinderella run. Starting off at 22-1, Purdue has been a tough matchup all year, especially because of 7'4" Zach Edey. There was even one stretch where the Purdue Boilermakers did lose 5 straight, but that was probably due to their main players running out of gas after playing north of 30 minutes for the first 22 games. Either way, as long as they work on player management, they look like they have a good team, and they have been playing really good against undersized teams. That has been the difference maker for Purdue this year.
Looking forward to a big Big Ten matchup, Penn State versus the Texas A&M. The Penn State Nittany Lions were a tough out in the Big Ten tournament, winning 3 consecutive close games. They fell to the number 1 seed Purdue just by 2 points. This is the first time since 2011 that Penn State has made it to the NCAA tournament. For the Nittany Lions, Jaden Pickett is their key player. He averages 18.1 points per game and 7 assists per game on a 52% shot percentage. On the other side, the Texas A&M comes into a tournament with a chip on their shoulder. The Aggies are underseeded last year, and they were the first team out of the last year's tournament. The Aggies also went to their conference championship, but lost to the number 1 team in the country, Alabama. They have never made it into the Final Four with 15 tournament appearances. The key players for the Aggies will be forward Spartan Julius Marble and guard Wade Taylor. Taylor is averaging 16.5 points on the season, and Marble is averaging 9 on the year.
Arkansas and Illinois will face off in the first round, and this is the first time the two teams will meet in the postseason, but Illinois did just recently win their last game in 2004. That would be their 5th meeting, and they would win all of them against the Razorbacks, bringing them to a whopping 5-0 in head-to-head matchups. Arkansas comes in at the 8th seed at 20-13, and Illinois is ranked at 9th, finishing 20-12. Arkansas lost its last 3 regular season games, but they entered the tournament coming off back-to-back appearances in the Elite 8, while Illinois is looking to bounce back from a second-round exit last year. Illinois closed the season with a 79-76 loss to Penn State in the Big Ten tournament, and the 2 big wins for the Illini came at an 85-78 OT win against Texas in December and 79-70 victory against UCLA in November. Arkansas finished the season with 3 straight losses before losing to Texas A&M 67-61 in the quarterfinal of the SEC tournament. Back in January, the Razorbacks secured 2 key victories, an 81-70 victory over Texas A&M and a 74-68 win over Missouri.
Looking forward to another matchup this weekend. We have another with the 8th seed Iowa Hawkeyes versus the 9th seed Auburn Tigers. This will be a very interesting game with a different clash of styles, with the defensive Tigers looking to slow down the high-scoring Iowa Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes are looking for redemption after an upset loss to Richmond last year. Iowa has thrived in the tough conference by being an offensive team. Guard Chris Murray is the reason for that. He leads the charge, averaging 20 points per game, and for the Tigers, John Broome is the highest scoring averaging on their team, averaging 14 points per game.
One of the last matchups we'll be going over is Maryland versus Virginia. Maryland versus West Virginia. West Virginia has won 3 of their 4 previous games, and they are looking to stay hot as they head into the madness of March. West Virginia is the more offensive team of the two, as they are number 15 in efficiency in the country. Leading the charge on offense is Eric Stevenson, who averages 15 points per game while shooting 38 from deep. West Virginia plays in one of the toughest conferences, as 7 other teams have made the tournament from the Big 12, and they had the 5th toughest schedule according to Ken Palm. On the other side, Maryland has had many key wins in their run to the tournament. Guard Jameer Young leads the squad in points per game with 16 and 3 steals per game. Both teams missed the 2022 tournament after losing in the second round in 2021. West Virginia would lead the all-time series with Maryland 24-14, most recently beating Maryland in the 2015 NCAA tournament. Maryland finishes in 5th in the Big Ten before losing to Indiana in the Big Ten tournament, while West Virginia finished 8th in the Big 12, and they lost to the Kansas Jayhawks in the Big 12 tournament.
The next game we're going to look at is the 4 versus 13 game, Kent State versus Indiana. Indiana being the 4 seed. Kent State is the MAC champion. They held Houston to just 49 points in a road loss. Coach Rob Sanderhoff, a former Indiana assistant, they have the top 40 defense in the country with senior guard play, which is very important in the tournament, as we know. Sincere Carey and Malik Jacobs have 205 combined starts in college basketball. While Indiana, they're the 2nd in the Big Ten. They got 8 quad 1 wins, including a home upset of Purdue. Their point guard, Jalen Hood-Schifino, expected to be a lottery pick when the draft comes up this summer. The leading scorer, Trace Jackson Davis, averages over 20 points. He also leads the team in rebounds and assists. Mike Woodson's second year has been very successful, and he's looking to carry that over into next year. But first, he's looking to make a run in the tournament. Indiana are the 4-point favorites, and it's what's sure to be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, and another one we're looking at is Northwestern versus Boise State. Northwestern is just their 2nd tournament appearance in program history and their best Big Ten finish since 1959. They're a top 15 defense in the country, and they beat MSU at the Brez this year. Chris Collins was the Big Ten Coach of the Year, and Boo Buie and Chase Audige are 2 veteran guards who are looking to make a big impact in this tournament. Buie scores over 17 a game, and Audige is an excellent defender, over 2 steals a game. For Boise State, they coming out of the Mountain West with a little uncertainty. Mountain West has struggled in the tournament in recent years, just 5 wins since 2013 against 17 losses. Boise State does have 3 quad 1 wins this year. They'll need to match that and more if they want to make a deep run in this tournament.
Thanks, guys. There are certainly a lot of teams that will cause a shakeup to the brackets.
Yeah, Lexi, I couldn't have said it better, and I'll be sure to keep an eye on my bracket this week.
Sadly, though, that's all the time we have for you today on this March Madness special edition of Spartan Sports Report. Make sure to check out our Instagram page and our new TikTok page, Spartan Sports Report. And watch all of our previous episodes on our YouTube channel. I'm Lexi Alston.
And I'm AJ Evans. Thanks for watching.